Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Hello from Twitch and or YouTube. If you guys haven't checked out my Twitch, I stream there usually at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day over at twitch.tv/Venenu_. But furthermore, let's get into the video. It is going to be about the top 5 mages to grind ranked with, and the mages that you should just know in general to play. With playoffs being over, I feel more comfortable making the video. Not really much is going to change from the next patch coming out, so I might as well just go into it. And if you guys want to grind ranked, these are definitely the mages to do it on. I believe these are the best mages to do it on, just as their build paths and everything like that. So I'll be going over why I think these are the top 5 mages, and yeah, let's get right into it. So the first mage by far that I think is the best is definitely Teamat. If you can actually end up getting this character in ranked, then you should definitely be picking her. She's definitely very good. It can be a little frustrating to play in ranked if people don't play around you, but she's definitely just a very good god overall. She has 6 abilities in her kit. Actually, she technically has 8. I mean, technically she has more than that, but usually your cycle is going to be 8 abilities, so pretty good overall. Basically, the reason for this character is she spams Reaver very well. She uses Soul Gem very well. She uses having percent pen very well, as her abilities are on low cooldown. And if you're going the CDR build that has come into play a little bit more and more, which is Chronos Pendant, Soul Gem into a Reaver, that build is pretty insane as she uses it, because she can proc Reaver 8 times, making it kind of pretty frustrating as a frontliner to play in. More times if you're a frontliner, you're going to get procced at least, at least like 4 or 5 times against the Teamat. You're going to get procced Reaver, which is going to be the majority of all the mage's damage. So just having a 30% CDR build and having Chronos Pendant ticking away your buttons by 1 second every 10 seconds, pretty good to have a character like this that has multiple abilities. So yeah, basically her having insane self-heal, insane mitigations, insane damage, and a very frustrating minion mechanic that allows you to free farm and push towers and get wave advantage and everything like that. So overall, very frustrating character to play against, and it becomes a tank as well when she goes into melee stance, gaining basically will always have 60% mitigations late game in her passive. But definitely a very frustrating character to play against. She's very good. She takes a little bit to get going, but she's very good at early game for the mid camp fight. And yeah, overall, definitely a very strong character. Definitely would recommend getting used to her kit in casuals or whatever if you haven't played her that much already. She's barely left over been in ranked. I don't think I've ever been able to play her in ranked. I've only been able to play her in casuals, but definitely a character in the current state of the game to have being able to be played. So definitely learn her, master her, and insane character for sure. For the next character that I think people should get to know is probably going to be Raijin. Again, another character that has been meta for a very long time. He's a very good rank character, has a perfect stage of the game at all times. Doesn't really have a weak point. The only time that he's weak is if people can close the gap on him fast enough and have high enough damage. You might see him fall out of meta a little bit with the jungle changes coming into play, where there's more hyper carry junglers that can actually one-shot him. That's usually when Raijin starts to fall out a little bit, but to be honest, don't think it will change much. Raijin just has a very good early game, very good mid game, and an insane late game, being able to hit frontliners and carries at the same time with his ult. Just overall a very good kit. He doesn't really use the CDR build, which is Chronos Pendant Soul Gem, but he does use the items of like he uses Shard and Coin very well. He uses Reaver very well, being able to proc it on multiple people. That being with his 2, which is a slow that can spread in the team fight, doing insane amounts of damage with Reaver and Soul Gem. Stacks Soul Gem very easy. Can honestly has a very good disengage, has a very good engage, being able to jump in on the person, basically stunning them. This is his 3, which is basically a stun because they can't play the game, even though it says mesmerize, it's a stun technically. You just get it on them, doing an absurd amount of damage, and then being able to ult with full CC immunity and doing 1 million damage to them. Very, very, very good ability, especially with his early game. His passive helps him a lot with that, being able to stack it up in base. Definitely a character that you want to learn to master. A very frustrating character to play with if you're very, very good with him. Just being able to hit multiple people on a team fight with your 2 and ult is just, it's enough damage, to be honest with you. You don't even need to use your 1. It's kind of insane. So yeah, definitely if you don't know this character, definitely get used to him. In casuals, but in ranks you can get used to him. I would always, in your ult, 90% of the time you're always going to be wanting to use your beat 1, which is your damage version of the ult. Rarely do you want to use your taunt. You probably don't want to use your taunt more than once unless you're really going to be setting up for something, or setting up for your other carrier's damage if you don't think you have the damage. But usually when you're Ryzen, you have enough damage. And yeah, definitely a very, very good character in the current state of the game. Uses a different version of the meta build for mages. Uses Reaver very well, which is pretty much the only item we really need on a mage. So yeah, definitely learn him. Just overall a very, very good character. Biggest thing I would say as like a tip, make sure you know how when to use your dash aggressively. Like if you have your 2 on someone and you can 2-3 on top of them in an ult and you think you can kill them, definitely be making plays like those. Always very good. Just 2-3 ult combo is very insane. The 1 is like okay damage, but very good combo with this 2-3 ult. Do just be careful with using the Thunder Crash. Yeah, just make sure you're playing with your other backliner and following up off a CC and everything like that. And that would be, in my opinion, the second best character. Going into the third, actually I forgot about Hell. Going into the probably, I don't know if I'm putting this in an order or anything like that. Going into the third mage anyway, probably, yeah, actually just not in any order from best to worst, just the top 5 in general. Going to the third mage is going to be Hell. Absolutely, this character blew up coming from a fix. I think she got a buff and then also a fix that just made her completely OP. And honestly, this character is insane amounts of damage. Has the most pressure out of any mage by far. You start your 3 on this character. Level 1, you threw your red buff going to mid. You heal the wave, do your 3 on their wave, your damage 3 on their wave, and just automatically win. You automatically get pressure, and your level 2 fight is absolutely insane. Again, another character that has multiple abilities, not just having the usual 3 abilities, or the 2 abilities of level 2. She has 3 abilities because you have double 1s and your 3, and you're technically have 4 abilities because you're also healing your opponent, healing the wave, which gives you wave advantage, which means you're probably just going to win every single 2v2 in mid. Kind of an unplayable thing to play into. Very unenjoyable play into this character. If you're very good at this character and you can micromanage swapping your stances and using it for poke and trading, overall a very, very, very good character. Definitely one thing you have to get used to though is you won't be able to do the most damage to frontline as other mages. But there's different styles you can play. If you can actually get an opening where you can get on the back line late game, or like I would say mid game where she struggles against killing frontline in the mid game, if you can get actually into the back line and be doing damage to the back line and just keep throwing your 1s, like this 1 does so much damage to backliners if you can actually hit them, or I should say squishies in general. Definitely be on the lookout for her. She's pretty much played and unlocked every single game. You can play this character and really use her to her advantages. She's an absolutely insane character. Very, very frustrating to play against as another mage, as usually other mages don't really just do too much to her. So definitely something to keep in mind. Very, very good character. Doesn't use the standard build. You can go like a coin tank item Reaver build, or you can go a Doomorb tank item shard Reaver build, which is kind of her 2 main builds. Doing absolutely insane damage, having flat pen in her 2 as well, also insane, and having a cleanse. Just another character that has 6 abilities that can proc Reaver very well. Just insane. A very frustrating character to play against. If you make one mistake early game versus this god, she will snowball the game and just win it for you. And there's not really much counterplay until you get to the later stages of the game, where you can kind of just close the gap on her, run at her, and kill her before she can get her damage off. But yeah, definitely a very, very frustrating character. Definitely hard recommend you play this character in casuals, get used to her, and then slam some rank straight with her. Guarantee you will be climbing the ranks very, very fast with this god. She can be played in mid, she can be played in solo. Just overall a very, very frustrating character to play against. Yeah, definitely get used to her. Get used to her kit. Know her now. Know when to use the cleanses, your slows, and everything like that on her. Learn how to cycle your abilities fast, auto cancel, be able to 1-1 fast as well. Bunch of small things that you need to get used to on the god. Definitely a different style of play than the other mages, but definitely a big, big thing to get used to. So yeah, that is the third one. The next character I would say going into it is Janus. He doesn't really do the best job at killing frontline, but he's a very annoying character to play against as he's super mobile around the map. He's very, very fast. He has a pretty good early game being for mid camps at level 2. He has very good clear in mid. He has a short CD cooldown on his 2. And he can just to the wave again, out clear usually any mage, especially because now that Conduit got buffed. He got buffed because Conduit was his main item because he doesn't have a strong early game unless he has Conduit. Them giving him Conduit gives him this pressure that usually he doesn't have. And then honestly, you just kind of want to hyper farm this god completely, in my opinion, different playstyle than everything else. As much as you're looking for rotations and using your portals aggressively or defensively and your ults around the map, you're also kind of just looking to hyper farm with this character. If you can hyper farm with this character and get, you know, a level ahead, 2 levels ahead of the other mid laner, you're probably going to carry the game anyway. You're going to have 1,000,000 gold. This is a type of character, as frustrating as it would be for the jungler, this is the type of god that you kind of just want to get all the farm that you can get just because of how fast he can farm everything. So you kind of just want to be running around the map farming as much as you can. Get your neutrals, which are mid camps, back camps, oracles, scorps. Just make sure you're doing that, creating pressure on the map. You can create false pressure, which is basically with Janus, you can walk in if you have a sentry on, let's say, duo-side mid camps, you can walk to duo-side mid camps, stand there, and then ult over, or like stand there and the side lane has to play back that you're on, or you can just ult over and you can make a play happen and get your dual lane pressure. A very, 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 very good rank character. Usually dumpsters all games just because people don't respect his ult. When just being able to be anywhere on the map, a very frustrating character to play against in ranked. Definitely a character that can just blow a game out because of the rotation pressure. Has very, very insane damage with his 2. That's being his main ability. Make sure you're always either, if you can get a threshold on the enemy, make sure to do that because usually you're portaling through, or you'll have your passive anyway. So if you can get a 3 on the enemy, definitely do that. Always good. Slow additional scaling. You have a lot more damage. Yeah, don't be afraid to just kind of spam your buttons and run around the map. Again, another character that uses CDR build, which is Chronos Pendant and Soul Gem. A good Reaver God. He's an okay Reaver God. He's not the best Reaver God. He's just a very good Reaver God. He uses Soul Gem, probably the best out of any mage because his 3 for some reason applies. They take a Soul Gem. So actually his 3 and his portal. If you go through your own portal and go through your 3, you get 2 stacks. Insane character for that. And stacks Soul Gem very fast. Uses Soul Gem very, very, very well. Very frustrating thing to play against. He does quite a bit of damage. He can kind of fall off in the midpoint where he doesn't have his percent pen on. But usually when you're just going Chronos, Soul Gem, Shard, and you get those 3 items online, you're doing a bunch of damage to everybody. And then once you get Reaver, you're hitting like a truck. Then your late game can be Ratatouille, and then you have a chance to one-shot a backliner late game. And you can auto win the game off of hitting a backliner. So definitely, I would say he's on the easier end of a character, but the only thing that you have to get used to if you're newer to Janus is being able to be agile on the map, to be hyper farming, getting all the farm that you can get, being fed, but also then using that lead that you created, doing all that to kind of create pressure elsewhere, be very far ahead with your build, be other places than your mid lane and hyper farming, and knowing the time to stop hyper farming and to start rotating. A very key thing on Janus, because you hyper farm, so you want to use your lead to then carry other role or other lanes or anything like that and get them back in the game or get them a lead. So yeah, definitely a very good ranked god. Very, very good if you can get in comms with your ranked teammate, because just him being Janus, that's just kind of how that it goes. So yeah, definitely highly recommend Janus if you can play him. Definitely get him in the god pool. Definitely a very good ranked climbing god. And yeah, so I believe that is the fourth one. And I was kind of trying to decide between the two. Personally, I don't think Merlin is that good of a rank god. He kind of uses Chronos Soul Gem Reaver build very well. He just doesn't have enough base power to make him super good, and he's a very slow curving up. He kind of needs 4 items before he starts doing something. So usually when gods require that, not really the best god to be playing in ranked. If you can get him going, he can definitely carry games, but for a top 5, I don't think this is the god that you want to be playing for ranked. He's very easy to dive, and when people are playing for you or peeling for you, he's just not a good character to be playing, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go down to Mori. I think Mori is the character you want to be playing in ranked. Just kind of gets pressure, which is really important in ranked. Does a lot of damage. Is a very, when people aren't in comms or playing very split from each other, especially in the late game, or just like running around on their own and you're in late game, you can one-shot them as Mori without even using your ult. And on like top level games, she's a very, very, very frustrating character to be playing against, because if the Mori player is good, you're always being invis, you're always making noise just to make the backliner scared, and you're just being very, very frustrating, and you're just spamming your buttons over and over and over and over again, and you're just being very annoying. She does not really use the Chronos Pendant too well. She can if you want to, but not really the best of items on her. Neither is Soul Gem, but she uses a different style of build, just going Sands, do more double flat pen, Reaver. And you can go Shard if you want to, if you're trying to kill frontline. You can go Poly, and you're just a full backline killer. You have to be killing backline if you're going that build with no percent pen. Gotta be hitting the backline. Yeah, definitely a very, very important thing. Just make sure you are slamming backline with this character in the late game. She has early game pressure. That's just based off of her too. She can clear waves very fast. She's a very good level 2. She has not a very good level 2. She has a good level 2 around mid camps and mid wave. Just being able to 2-1 someone and your 2-1 combo doing 1,000,000 damage. Also, you can spam your 2s on the enemy while your jungler is proccing it. Like if you have a good proccing jungler, make sure you're slamming those 2s on them. Having an AoE auto that's a dot auto as well, that hits multiple creeps, which is usually 3 creeps. You always want to be getting that dot auto on archers when you're playing for pressure, as they're squishier, so your jungler can play up and then hit the wave. And that's just good. Her also having an on-demand stun, being able to beats force, very important. One thing I would say that you have to get used to is definitely being pre-beads in the late game. Not a common thing that you see, not a common thing that's really talked about, but with smite being how it is and you getting animation locked, usually when you're invis and you're walking into like late game, when everyone's pretty much like full build and you're trying to go on a backliner and you stun them, make sure you just, I know it's not the best thing, but usually you're transforming into a tank on your transform anyway, or someone who's at least a little bit tankier. Just stun. Don't always pre-beads, but I would say 90% of the time pre-beads and transform, just so there's no interruptions or animation locks where you can't beads and then you just die, or you go into your transform poked and then you have to ult out. Just make sure you're getting your transform off late game. Usually stun late game is going to hit a carry anyway for like 900, and you can finish them off with a tank. If you can get your 2s out late game as well, if you can just hammer your 2s and keep throwing them out and be a very, very annoying guy, very good as well. She does insane poke. Yeah, if you can stun 2 combo, that's great. I don't think you're ever going to get it off. If anybody's paying attention, yeah, the person that you stunned is going to beads, and then they're going to turn on you and you're probably going to die with crit being in the game. You're probably just going to get 3 shot. So make sure you stun, they're going to beads, they're going to turn, and make sure you just beat and transform. That's pretty much it for that. For the game, she has like a weird little point where you just have to be very, very cautious with your ult in the early game. Don't just run around slamming your ults. You can kind of hyper farm on this god, similar to Janus, but she does have a very good fight because she's becomes another character. But just make sure you're using it to be a useful ult. Make sure you're not just running around and slamming the ult. Don't be afraid to be defensive on the ult, but just make sure your team knows how long your ult is, because usually that's her strongest point. When her ult is down, people are always going to look for you because it's a very long cooldown. Make sure you're just clearing and farming and being safe, getting the wards out in the early mid game, so you don't get picked off and don't get your ult forced and stuff like that. And I think that is it for Moray. Just make sure you're spamming your twos, make sure you're looking for stuns set up for your team. Transform usually into a tank late game, unless you have just a sick transform for a carry, which just might be the play going into next patch. Yeah, I mean, early game you can look for, you always usually look for like a jungler play, unless you have a good solo transform or something that can be a little tankier and safer. It still does damage, but usually you're looking for a jungler. Just depends on the situation. So yeah, that's gonna be it. So again, going over it again, top 5 mages climb ranked with, definitely going to be Teamat, definitely going to be Hell, Raijin, Janus, and Mori. You could argue that you can add Soul and Merlin in there, but this is going to be my personal opinion for climbing. And yeah, that's just going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see something else, something to do with the mage builds for season or in the current meta, I can go over those mages with the mage builds. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much again for watching the video. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And if you guys have not checked me out on Twitch, go to twitch.tv/Venenu_. Again, I stream at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time pretty much every single day. So make sure you go give me a follow there. It's completely free. And yeah, hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.